Hi, it's me, Ingrid INFP, and I wanted to talk about what I've discussed with my INFJ friend about the concept of time. Um, and I think that this is something that we can use to differentiate how INFJs from INFPs. Um, I think INFPs see time as pretty linearly, while INFJs see it as cyclical. And I mean, if you are a certain type, you'll have a hard time understanding how other people view things. But like for me, it's really hard for me to see as time as cyclical, except when it comes to like seasons. Seasons are cyclical because they always come back and it's always the same ones. And it keeps repeating itself. Then there's like the circle of life where people get older, get children, it goes on and on, generation after generation. But there are some people out there who see the world differently and who see time as cyclical just by nature and don't have this view of a timeline in the same way as I would have. Since INFPs have SI, which INFJs don't have, SI is really focused on the past. NE is what could be in the future. And FI is like our whole, it's our being. So our being is with us. So that's like FI is our most present function. We don't have SE, so we're not in the moment. But our feelings are always with us in the moment. So that's the only thing that keeps us kind of in the present. But we really do see our life as like a story. So there is a beginning and there is an end, and we're on a path, a journey to the end of our story. And we are always, as INFPs, interested in the feelings and the emotions that the story brings, and we wanted to make it interesting so that we can like have a good life. And that's how we realize our potential and our passion, and we see the world and our life like a story. So time has to go somewhat it has to go somewhat along a timeline. There might be flashbacks where you're thinking about the past, but in a story, like, stories can't be cyclical. I mean, in maybe very rare cases, certain books, like books that are nonfiction or about philosophy, but not fiction stories with like that we follow characters. So that's where, for us, life and time is very linear. But for INFJs, it doesn't seem to be really that case, because they can kind of predict the future, or like they can see what's most likely in the future. So they'll see life is kind of eternal in a way, not linearly. So for them, it's really hard to see the past because they're always walking towards the future. They're always thinking about the future, and it feels like they already are in the future when it's the present. And so they are never in the moment either, but in another way, because they're not seeing their life really as much as of a story. They're kind of just observing life in all the times. So they can see how things are, but how they are in the future, how they are in the past. But they're looking at it and it's not a timeline. So I was watching this movie with my INFJ friend. We were watching Arrival. We watched Interstellar first, and Interstellar is also about time. And then we watched Arrival, which is about aliens and space as well, and about time. It's basically these aliens come to Earth, and this linguist has to try to communicate with these beings. But in order to communicate with them, about these beings, their language is like they produce language through symbols, and these symbols are like a sentence, but it has no concept of time. So these beings have no concept of time. And the thing is, the main character in this movie, she starts reading this language so often that it ends up rewiring her brain so that she can also see time as she also sees no time. She also sees it as cyclical. And so she starts having memories that are actually her future, and the future are memories. And like, it makes no sense, but it's weird because like time doesn't flow in the normal way. And my INFJ friend said that like that's how he thinks like all the time. And that's so weird to me. So time isn't as important to him. I don't know, or it is. It's very important. He thinks about it a lot. But he's so focused on the future that he can see that time, that he's more interested in the future than in the past. Well, for me, like, my story is built around my past. So I need to refer to my past in order to make good decisions about the future. Well, INFJs don't have SI, and they have NI, and NI is about the most likely path. So they'll see time as a very weird thing. And when we were watching that movie Interstellar, basically what happens in the movie is that they go into space, and then they realize that time doesn't work the same way in space. So when they go to the other planets, 1 hour on that planet is like 7 years on Earth. So they're aging, but they're not, like, for them, their perception will be that there's only 1 hour has passed. But on Earth, like, their children are getting older. So that's really weird. I don't really know how that would work biologically, like if your cells would get older. I don't really get the science behind it. If there is a science that actually works. But it is kind of like light and the speed of time and light. Everything is connected. All these forces of physics are connected. But it's just the way I see life is rather more of a story than like me actually seeing all of these concepts of the world. It's more like I'm seeing the feelings behind everything. So that's why I think that INFPs have a very different concept of time than INFJs. Since I don't know what other INFJs have as a perspective, I'll leave the word open to you guys. But yeah, I thought that this was an interesting topic because it really shows how different our types are, and it's a different perspective on life that I hadn't thought about before. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. What are your perceptions of time? Have a great day. Bye bye.